Listen up, Gotham.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hiya, Buttons. It's me, Harley Quinn.
This is Batman.
This is Robin.
Tune into the Bat Fan Addict podcast.
The Bat Fan Addict podcast.
The Bat Fan Addict podcast.
The Bat Fan Addict podcast with Sammy Warm Hands.
With Sammy Warm Hands.
The Bat Fan Addict podcast. Bat Fan Addict podcast.
Although, Sam, you might think about changing the name.
Hey everybody, it's the Dark Knight of Rap, Sammy Warm Hands, and this is the Bat Fan Addict podcast. As always, I'll be joined by my co-hosts Ben and Evan, but let's shout out first our Season 3 sponsor, TNK Comics and Collectibles. You can follow on shortboxed.com/TNK Comics or on Instagram for claim sales at the Nando Night. That's KNIGHT. Now, we've been off air for a minute, but this episode was recorded earlier, so you may hear a dated reference or two. That said, we go off on some wild tangents and have some laughs because we take this movie about as seriously as it takes itself. That's right. Sit back and enjoy the Lego Batman movie. I'm gonna pause at the hour and a half mark here. I feel so stupid. I have an eBay auction that's ending.
I'm fine with you pausing as long as you don't actually pause and you explain to everybody what you're doing.
Yes. I was going to say that, or the meta is that.
I'll just do it like, oh, God damn it! You paid me by $1!
Yeah, exactly.
That, or it's an abrupt end, and that's the end of the episode. And you have to have a little epilogue explaining why it ended.
Now, today, a totally separate day from the last episode you heard, we're going to talk about the Lego Batman movie from 2017. I have Ben Polanski.
Hello.
And Evan Vaught.
Greetings.
This was Jesus.
Directed.
Yes.
You speak English, you fucking moron?
Wow, racist much?
Oh, I guess that could be construed that way. If you were a racist, you might think of everything in those terms.
Yeah,
I meant
that's
because
true.
you're stupid, not because you don't speak English.
I thought you were speaking my language, which is racist.
Okay.
Directed by Chris McKay, written by Seth Graham Smith, Chris McKenna, Eric Summers, Jared Stern, and John Whittington. Starring, among others, because there's a lot, this is the core cast, Will Arnett, Michael Cera, Rosario Dawson, who makes everything better, Zach Galifianakis, and Ralph Fiennes, with notable cameos.
Rafe.
Rafe?
It's like a weird
Really?
European name, yeah.
Oh, well, fuck me. With notable cameos from Billy D. Williams, who played Harvey Dent in '89, and Zoe Kravitz, who played Catwoman in The Batman. I'm going to go first. I hated this movie the first time I saw it, and I'm not sure if I saw the whole thing, because as I was watching this, I only really remember the first chunk.
Did you watch this in theaters?
No.
You couldn't have watched this in theaters the first time.
No, this was a...
You wouldn't have.
This was a clear, you see a trailer for something, and you either go, oh, that's right up my alley, or you go, that's not for me. And for me, that was a clear, like, oh yeah, this is not for me. Not on my radar, right? Everyone was saying how good it is. And I'm like, that's cool. Glad you liked it. It's not.
You can say it for something.
It's
That's
not
cool.
gonna
I'm
work.
glad you liked it.
Yeah,
It's
when
not-
it's about Batman.
Yeah, exactly. No, like, good for you, but I'm not, yeah.
That's all I was trying to get out of you last week when we got together.
Yeah. I know it's not going to translate to
I
me.
should
That's all
have
I'm
done
saying.
this. Instead of doing milkshakes or whatever, I should have said, it's like someone goes and watches Lego Batman.
He's still okay with people disagreeing with his opinion as long as they still love Batman.
It has to be talking
Because
about
then
it.
at least you still have Batman in common.
You know what they say? It's a compliment sandwich. Look, I love Batman. However, the border crisis is out of hand. Again, I do love Batman. I think Redbox is my best guess, is how I saw it.
You watch this on physical media?
I
course.
watch most things on physical
He
media.
bought the Laserdisc.
No, actually, fun fact, I opened my Blu-ray of this that I bought when we were doing like season 1 or something. I'm like, someday we're going to get around to this
Better not throw that away.
Because I saw it was $8 somewhere, and so I bought it. It still had the fucking price tag on it, and I opened for this. But first time I saw it, it was one of those nights where you're like, I don't know what else to watch. You know what? I'll give this thing a shot. Everyone says that it's so good, and that it has such a deep knowledge, it has a deep bench of Batman characters and references, and like I think you'd at least like some of it, I'm like, all right, fine. To me, it seemed to have no reverence for the character despite all of its knowledge of the world. It is sort of like Pete Holmes did the bad man thing, making fun of Christian Bale and the Dark Knight stuff. And there was a lot of, particularly after Rises, of making fun of Christian Bale, making fun of Tom Hardy.
I won't stand for it.
Humor about it that wasn't like Harley Quinn animated series, that to me is like a
better example.
Loving twist on it.
Well, I thought about that while watching it. I was like, one, because that's so much more adult. That's part of why that show's so much better. But also, yeah, it feels reverent.
Yeah, there's a different lens. Like, you can make fun of Bane and like, oh, blow up this cafe or whatever, whatever it is. And that feels funny to me. But for some reason, this just doesn't. And I think the embodiment of it, and we'll get to it, is the song in the beginning. But I think that...
Do you have the time
to
listen?
No, but I think that there's something paradoxical about the amount of thought that goes into this and all the various Easter eggs and fan service that are in it, despite its portrayal that this guy's core qualities are stupid. And
I think it's because you're looking at this through a lens of someone who loves Batman.
And not just that, but actually identifies with him. And so you're like, in a way, you're making fun of me.
No. Yes, no, but it's not just
like
that.
the audience member, you're making fun of me.
So like that's how you're looking at it. And I think the people who made this are looking at it through the lens of, how do we make a Batman movie that's appropriate for children, that's fun?
That has movie references for the adults.
Yeah, and it's funny for everyone. It's funny for as many people as possible. It's not really like for you.
Well, yeah, and I've mentioned this before,
As you
that
said.
when someone pitches a movie as like, it's fun for the whole family, I'm like, that's not for me. I know what that means.
The kills aren't going to be sick. The drug use is going to be off
there's going to be no swear words.
I know that by doing that, it's compromising on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that I truly love is not that. It's just, it feels like intentionally self-censored when someone's doing that. It's like, all right, we're going to make something that's...
There's a way you can do it, though, because I think of like Cartoon Network cartoons.
There's The Simpsons or something, but like...
The Simpsons, yeah, but even The Simpsons is maybe...
Adventure Time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking of. Like, not an Adult Swim show, but a Cartoon Network cartoon that is like weird and interesting, and the themes are strange enough that anyone can enjoy it. It's not specifically for children.
And the writing is smart enough that it's like...
Tickles your brain.
Yeah, it's not actually intended for kids. It might be funny, but it's like only an adult would catch it.
So you can make that movie with this content in Lego Batman form. I don't think it's just because that's what this is. I think it's the specific choices about this film and the way they made it.
Yeah, and I know that Lego Batman was originally in the Lego movie, or that's my understanding of it.
Played him in that as...
Yeah, which I haven't seen. I'm not familiar with that in any way. And so I imagine that there's some excitement about him being introduced
a sequel
there.
to the Lego movie starring a character from the Lego movie.
Yeah, which I haven't seen. So like, there's just a huge disconnect, and that's fine. That's why I thought it'd be fun to talk about, because there's going to be things that I fucking don't like or just do not get. And maybe you guys do on some level, or maybe you share my, like, what the fuck are they thinking here? I don't know. So that's why we pull out a Batman Ninja from time to time.
Yeah.
And go, well, it'll be a good conversation anyway.
Counterpoint.
Yeah, anyone's initial thoughts on when you first saw it or revisiting it?
I like it, but it's like their intention to aim it at an audience younger than us discredits it some. It just like makes them make dumb choices. Like, this would still be cool, and you could show me that you know these characters despite their like not swearing and stuff, because like Harley's clearly meant for an older audience.
I don't think those Jerry Maguire jokes are going to land for anyone under 50.
Yeah.
Except I think the reason that they laugh at it is because that's the line that Heath Ledger says in The Dark Knight.
You complete me.
Yeah. He
It's
says that,
people,
quoting that movie. So they don't show The Dark Knight. They show the source of the reference, which I think is why they were laughing in the audience both times that they showed the film.
The characters were laughing. I don't think any children
the characters.
Anyone in the audience of the movie.
Well, I think a lot of it is like really cool and smart when they're talking about like the two boat incident, they're talking about
the ferries.
Yeah. They're talking about other cinema and stuff, but then they'll do, I never like anybody inserting songs where they don't belong. I like a
a musical free zone when you're
No,
watching a movie?
I actually like a musical, but I know it's a musical. That's what I'm there for.
Yeah.
And
Awkward
I don't
insertion
like-
of a pop song.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, but also I don't like a sneaky musical. The Rocket Man trailer did not portray a musical, and that movie was a musical from beginning to end, and I was mad.
I like that
see
movie,
that.
but whatever.
But had I known that I was getting into it, I would have felt differently about it. But when I got
tricked.
there, I'm like, oh, God damn it, it's one. I said,
It's a movie about Elton John. It has to be a musical.
I know,
makes
but I was
sense.
like, I wouldn't have spent $20 on. Fuck it. All right. They're like, from the director of Bohemian Rhapsody, a movie that is decidedly not a musical.
Yeah, I know what to think about this. I also don't like people attempting to
Improve themselves.
yeah.
Make something meaningful.
Yeah, just stay where you are. Don't aim for the stars. Trying to be too current or like not
Which
just
instantly
appealing.
gets
Yeah,
dated.
did not just appealing
South
to the
Park
kids,
syndrome, as we
but
say.
yeah, appealing to the kids right now.
Did they say Riz?
No, I don't
This
know.
is pre-Riz because that's from last week.
It just seems like
He's got some crazy
Oh,
drip.
jizz is what. Yeah, there was a jizz
she's
joke.
got the jizz.
Well, there's the joke they do with the pop song of like when they're getting the Batmobiles ready or something like that, and they're like accidentally play a song or whatever, and it's just some pop singer. And it's not a bad song; it's just like some generic pop song. And the joke is like, "You're playing this bad music, but also here, listen to this song, and please go out and buy this on Apple Music." Like the whole movie feels like, isn't this stuff dumb? But also, we can't be too mean to it because we're trying to sell it to
Yes.
you, and it was our stuff. We don't want to trash it too badly.
Someone's like, my 5-year-old loves that fucking pop song from this movie, and I was just like, I'm so sorry. He plays it all the time.
Your kid is stupid.
Your kid's a kid. That's why they do that because
Yeah,
they don't know any better.
It's like our parents when we were running around singing, "Go Ninja, go Ninja, go!"
Yeah,
Which
That's
I
a good song,
recently
though.
accepted is actually the first rap song I ever loved. Didn't occur to me before when tracing it back to my first Coolio single that no, it was dancing around in Ninja Turtle pajamas
Yeah.
to Vanilla Ice. 100%.
That's catchy
For sure. I do really like how this looks.
Go.
Yeah, 100%.
I will share my enthusiasm for the animation, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time ever buying into the stupid designs.
I think
of
it's-
toys walking around doing shit.
I like it
like
because
that.
it gives it parameters.
Well, and I wanted you to elaborate more on when you say you like the way this movie
Well,
looks. What does that mean?
I don't want to do all of it because
It
it's
makes
also
him
like
horny.
part of my pros, but just in general, like it's
Dude, everything fits together so nicely. How
Because
can that not be
it's-
sexual?
Was there a Nightwing butt scene?
because the style is so original and the fact that it doesn't even matter that they like drew from something from our childhood or something that still exists. But I guess it had been done. There was another movie, but I haven't seen the other one and actually forgot about it. So
I think this
so
discussion is
kinda
a little bit about the Lego movie because this is our only Lego movie.
Totally.
Yes.
And a lot of it is just that movie again.
For sure. And I just think that like it's actually really cool to have you've given it constraints, and it's so cool to me that they know Legos as well as they know Batman. And so they're like using actual real life pieces to do certain things, like
Yeah.
the flames are these translucent orange plastic
Yeah.
pieces. It's actually really freaking smart to me. And I'm just like, how do they do this crap? I'm like so blown away by how are they like rendering all this
Building
stuff?
all these pieces and
It's
then putting
insane.
them together and then rearranging them in a computer environment.
Or yeah, like the parts where the building's falling apart and he's like assembling this stuff in midair.
scuttler.
I'm like, how do they freaking do that?
I wanted to say in
Oh, he
a
wants to say something. Here we go.
serious reflection.
I can
one
see stuff
thing-
on the screen now. You're talking.
One thing that I've learned from editing this show, season 3, is that Evan, better than any person I know, has adapted to conversations with me in a next level regard. Because the way that you will begin a point and I will snipe it with a joke, and the three of us, you will join in on our tangent about the joke, and then you will continue practically mid-sentence where you left off and drive home your point no matter how many times we deviate. And I was genuinely impressed. Like, he's fucking good at this. like, I will do this to everyone in my life. I do it to my wife, do it to my parents, anybody. And I watch them struggle to kind of like, and I'm like, sorry, I fucking, I know. But
Good Will Hunting from the movie Good Will Hunting,
good.
and you're the dad who throws wrenches at him. That's made him so strong and capable and adaptive.
I prefer to be Rip Torn throwing wrenches from Dodgeball.
Okay.
That's more relatable
And
to
you're
me.
Steve the Pirate.
Yeah, and I've never seen Good Will Hunting, so
Neither
and
have
I
I.
have
I
seen
just-
Dodgeball, so
I just know they talk.
that's-
There's like wrench abuse or something like
I
that.
don't remember that, and I've seen that movie a number of times, but
He talks about his dad hitting him with a wrench.
I guess I
think.
need to rewatch it.
That's the math movie.
Yeah, I've only
That's
seen
the
the version
math
in
movie?
Isn't it?
the Good Will Hunting
Chalkboard.
2.
This is in my brain. Chalkboard math. That's
How
what I
about them
got.
apples? Yeah.
Is that right?
His dad was mean,
It
so
is.
that's why he didn't amount to anything, even though he's a super genius. I feel like that's the movie.
Got
But
it.
one of these days, he's going to
So
learn how
he's
to
the
hunt. He'll be
Joker
the
in
Good Will
Criminal
Hunting.
Sanity.
Yes, but he's a good guy.
Oh,
Thank you, Sam.
yeah. Compliment.
But finish the point after that derailment, huh?
I made it all about
Yeah.
me, but I
Let's
still
see you
made
I
it
don't
finish
think
nice.
I was
now.
talking.
Oh, okay.
No,
Correct.
Yes.
No, that's the thing.
Okay,
I
respect that.
I thought of it while he was talking, and I was like, "Don't do it now.
Yeah.
Wait till he's
What
finished."
would Evan do?
I was like, just because he can recover it, and that will prove the point, doesn't mean it's a good place to say it. All right. The movie starts, and they're making fun of the fade in. So, like, it's practically a commentary track. From the moment you push play, they're joking about the title cards. Batman reads a Michael Jackson quote and then attributes it to himself.
It
because
felt like we were watching Mystery Science Theater.
yeah, very much. So he like reads this quote and it says Michael Jackson. And he's like, but I said it now, so it's me. And then it changes it to Batman. And I will say, because I'm going to shit on this movie, Will Arnett doesn't do a bad job. I just
Everybody in this
don't
movie does
like
a
what
good
he's
job.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to.
They made the movie they were trying to make extremely well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. A plane full of explosives is hijacked as it flies over Gotham City. I presume this is a parody of the opening scene in The Dark Knight Rises, but it's loose.
That's what it seems like.
The pilot isn't scared of the Joker, saying, well, Batman will stop you. Well, he always does. And they reference the fairies, as you mentioned, in TDK.
I love their little best friend buddy guy stuff in the cockpit. That was hilarious to me.
They mentioned Nicholson's parade in 89. And, he keeps pointing out, well, yeah, he stopped you when you did this. He stopped you when you did that. He stopped you when you did this. Like, the fuck out of here. I'm not afraid of you. And then we get a montage of every villain in Gotham, for the most part. I think they call them the C-listers or something, storming the power plant. Meanwhile, Egghead destroys the bat signal at the GCPD so that they can't call for Batman. And again, this is Egghead, so he's throwing eggs,
Get it?
and that destroys the bat signal. So if I already haven't been... All right, the first 5 seconds was troubling.
Yeah.
The second 5 seconds was troubling, and now this is just, okay, it's going to be a hard watch for me.
Did it destroy it or did it just cover it with eggs?
The Batman looks up in the sky like, that's not my signal.
Yeah, it's just a-
I don't recognize that signal.
That's all blotchy
it's
and
just,
weird.
Yeah, it's just a...
Yeah.
Did it break the glass or was it just covered in
The movie has no stakes.
Ever, yeah.
zero meat?
Joker holds the city ransom unless the mayor comes to discuss his demands. The mayor arrives and reveals herself as Batman in disguise. He says, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. And plays a joke metal song that he himself previously recorded, including lines like, who can choke hold a bear? Batman. And who has a tricked out ride? Batman. We also get the first of many 9-pack perfect abs jokes. This is the part that hurts my soul.
This is the part that you relate to the most.
To me, this is the epitome of like, oh, all this shit's fucking stupid, guys. Just so you know right out the gate, this guy sucks. And he's dumb.
But he's not that dumb because please buy everything.
Yeah.
I was trying to think another version, like, because we're talking about Adventure Time.
Like, I don't feel like I'm laughing with the character. I'm supposed to laugh at the character. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yes.
He's not in on the joke, really.
I think what I like about like Harley, was that cartoon Harley Quinn or is it just called Harley? I guess?
It's just called Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And the
Like-
Fantabulous. And that was
Shut
the movie I was
up.
thinking of last time. Like, hey,
Birds of Prey.
don't call your movie that.
And the one-
Harley Quinn and the Fanciful Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Bad
Is
name.
that they
And they changed it 3 times.
Birds of Prey? So
Then it started out as Birds of Prey and the
Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn.
what a fucking bad name.
Yeah, no.
And then
That's what I was grasping for last time.
Yeah, and then it immediately started to underperform, and they changed the name to Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, and then they changed it again when it went to streaming or something like that.
This isn't that movie you heard about. This is a different movie.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Dang it.
Harley Quinn.
After I just commended your ability.
Yeah, sorry. Well, but
I'm happy to see you
sometimes
fall.
I'll sometimes
You did it this time.
I'm happy to see you. Oh my god. Sometimes
We fall just to get back up again. Sometimes we fall to stay down. So why don't you stay down for once?
It was a bad paraphrasing of Alfred
I
Pennyworth.
get knocked down, but I get up again. Sometimes this is where I am. You guys off in this other place, and I got to return to here.
Yeah.
But then you'll say something that I want to comment on that also.
Yeah.
And then it just makes
You
it
haven't pulled away.
Yeah, it makes
But
it harder
you-
to get back where I started.
I've observed you jump in on the tangents and then immediately continue, and I'm like, that is expert level fucking
that makes me feel good because
compartmentalizing in your head.
in the same way that we talked about, like you editing me or editing me, or the way that I know that I talk is like spaces, not even emphasis. It's just like space, timing, and I'm not actually self-conscious, but I could see how somebody would listen to me and be like, this guy seems like kind of a dumbass. And
Today, Junior.
but it's because a lot of the times, like, you guys talk so quickly and you'll use words that I don't use very often.
Fantabulous.
Yeah, fantabulous.
That's the one.
If I ever look like I'm concentrating, it's because I am.
I thought you were just holding back a fart.
No, it's because like you guys are saying a lot of crap and you'll.
Most of it sucks, so I wouldn't worry about it.
No, I know, but it's still in my ears. It's still. I'm
incessant.
still having to
It's like
process
a bee
it.
buzzing.
You're throwing a lot of big words at me right now. I'm going
Yeah.
to take that as condescension.
I'm just gonna grab what I can and trying to stay on track, because growing up in my family was like, I talk, you talk, I talk, you talk, and it was like very polite and not with the overlayers and stuff. And
My family was like, the TV talks and you listen.
And at my house, it's just my mom saying, no one listens to me. You all just keep talking. But you're a multitasker, and I admire it.
thanks, buddy. Man, whew, I'm on top of the world right now.
No, he's really laying it on thick. What's going on?
gonna ask you
what's-
for money
Yeah,
later.
you're gonna
I
butter me
fucked
up?
your wife. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm trying to butter you up.
Harley Quinn does a really good job. They've like made boundaries for themselves that are still like, this is the character. I think that this movie would be better if it did more of that. Like Will Arnett's voice is cool, and there are Batman things about this.
Yeah.
But it's not very Batman to like talk about your abs and all the other silly stuff that he
yeah,
does.
He's not vain. He's not. He is extremely self-aware.
Yeah.
This
Like,
is
he's
He's
not a
not
self-aware guy.
superficial
Sure.
like
Yeah.
this at all. And,
Yeah.
you know, if
Like
you
Joker is funny in this to me because he still seems like
He's not menacing. He's not chaotic. He's not anything like the Joker.
Yeah, he just is painted like the Joker. But
I like what he says.
But what you were just saying about the Harley Quinn show, think of Batman in that show.
Yeah.
I don't like people making fun of Batman, and yet that Batman is great, Diedrich Bader, because
He's like the straightest person on that show.
Exactly. It's sort of a parody of how in his own way he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, how stiff he is. And in this, it's sort of this.
It's
like,
not even the same guy.
It's not even Clooney land. Like, this is off in a whole other world.
I don't know what you mean by that, but
Well, I just mean in terms of like the tone being so off.
Michael Cera as Dick Grayson, same thing.
Well,
Look at
they
his-
even show Adam West as to like, and whatever the hell this was.
Yeah.
Right. When they're showing references to the other films in this movie, and I'm like, you think you're better than that? Like, this,
you mean whatever the hell you are.
Yeah.
like, this is way more fucking weird than that. I'll take a King Tut episode over this.
How's your eBay bid?
Oh,
And
let's
also,
check.
what are you bidding on specifically?
I wasn't joking when I said it's a Metallica CD. It's a rare, it's part of a fan club exclusive box set from years ago, and it's just the CD. And it's 1 hour and 3 minutes away.
All right.
And it's currently at $27, which isn't bad.
Hush, little baby.
It's a live album from 1989, Justice Tour, which was like their peak of live shit. Joker says that Batman can't catch him, and still save the city from the bomb. They make a joke about their rivalry, saying, "You mean nothing to me." And this, I wonder, I'm only someone who will complain about new current slang, but to me, 2017, I believe, strikes me as the first time I would have ever heard the word ship abbreviated for relationship. They said it right here.
I've heard it for years because it's what like nerds talk about when they ship two characters. They want two characters to fall in
I
love.
fucking hate it. I hope they all die.
I think it's way earlier than that.
I've never heard that.
Oh yeah, it's like you fucking spend
I'll send you some forums.
spend an hour
The
on
Sonic
the
shippings
internet.
are so good with like Sonic and Robotnik, Sonic and the Palm Tree
I
from
ship
the first
that.
level.
I'm shipping blah blah blah.
Coitus?
Like no,
Yeah.
I work in
Coitus.
shipping,
Love.
motherfucker. It means another thing.
Okay, Grandpa.
It's a boat.
You had me up until you did that, and that's like now you sound like Grandpa.
Now you're showing your oldness.
That's fine. I have always been this way.
I work in animal breeding. That means lady dog. We don't say those terms.
Even when I was a kid, I was this way.
When I was young, that meant someone getting off the boat at Ellis Island covered in lice. We use it for that. It doesn't mean anything else.
Yeah.
Lame was when your leg didn't work.
My next note here is that this movie is moving so quickly, I'm having a hard time taking notes. So I may miss a couple details here and there because this is not a thing like the book that we read, Criminal Sanity, that's dense, and I'm going to stop for a moment, set it down, take good notes. This is a thing I don't want to watch, and so I'm going to write my notes while it's playing.
As long as you hit all of the critical plot points, then,
Every
then I'm
joke.
fine
I'm trying.
with that.
Batman is celebrated for his victory and then visits an orphanage to give the kids free Batman merch. He has like a t-shirt cannon and shit, and I assume there's a lot of Easter eggs in this, but I didn't stop to look. Batman talks to the Bat computer back at the cave, which is referred to only as Pewter. He dresses down into a robe but never removes the cowl. The first beat of silence is an uninterrupted shot of him waiting for the microwave. He then eats alone, plays guitar alone.
I really like the shot of him on his bat jet ski, just sitting there. 'Cause
Shredding?
That was
Yeah.
not the shredding. I thought the shredding was kind of corny, but just the shot, because that's more the movie I wanted. I
Him
want,
in a giant airplane hangar by himself.
yeah, I want
Yeah.
like this, but Wes Anderson directed it. Like just
Yeah,
long,
yeah.
awkward shots of like this amazing Lego bat cave with all these toys I wish I had as a child.
Stuff looks so cool.
Because that's what this movie
Just show me the stuff.
kind of.
I don't
but
like the
that's-
words.
that's-
Give me the details.
That's part of how I was consuming this movie. Is like I played with Legos a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
And that's like the imagination of it or the fantasy of it is you made this thing in this little set or this plane or whatever, and now you're picturing it in a world. And that's what this movie
Got
is.
it.
It's they're walking on Lego ground, and here's
Yeah.
this. Everything here is made of Legos. It's some created thing. Conceivably, you could make this if you had all these parts.
Okay.
And you
I have
could
very
airbrush your
little
own
of
little
that
bat.
because I played with action figures. I didn't really.
I had tons of it. So
I mean,
seeing,
I know what it feels like to step on a Lego, but beyond that, I'm not
I know
that.
you watched this movie. That's what it was like for you stepping on Lego for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, it kind of was. Yeah.
But every one of those vehicles in the Batcave, I thought were so cool looking.
Yeah.
Just because, again, you see each individual Lego that made it and how they came up with like 5 different Batmobiles and all these different flight things in his little bat jet ski. I love that thing.
Yeah, it seemed like they were being, with some exceptions, is like some backgrounds and stuff. There was like a couple effects that I don't think that were like blocks themselves, but you get the feeling that every one of these things could be built if you were given like a blueprint for it. And I think that that's cool because it's like they restricted themselves. Like, we're not going to design anything that you couldn't actually build in real life.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily relate into the like I could build this or something like that, but I did at times appreciate that it had almost a stop motion quality. Like
For
when
sure.
you
Well,
see
it's
an
supposed to look
explosion
like they
and you
are.
see
Yeah.
all the little bits fly out and things like that, it is visually interesting, even if I don't like the character designs and stuff like that,
Sure.
you know.
It's sort of like 8-bit stuff has to move in an 8-bit way
Yeah.
because you only have X amount of blocks to work with. And so that's kind of how this comes across.
When they
is like-
dance, it's just like legs
yeah,
going
it's
up
sort
'cause their
of,
legs
it's
don't
kind of
move past
choppy,
that.
you know? That's the world they live in.
But so you didn't play with Legos necessarily in that way, but can you put yourself in a headspace where
No.
look at all these
I'm
you
just trying
put
to save
yourself-
you time.
Okay, that is fair. You put it like that. That's fair. But no, think about more in the sense of like, let me think of you at your most childlike. You're 24. You're at Toys R Us. No, you're a little kid and you see boxes and boxes, and each one of these boxes is like this fucking sick ass, cool Batman vehicle made of Legos that you can make. Maybe you're not even gonna make it, but just the idea that like, oh, that's cool. Oh, a giant 89 Batmobile made out of Legos, like that's what it feels like. It's not even necessarily the making it. It's just that a cool branded Batman thing for you to buy. You can relate to that, I feel like.
Yeah, on some level. I mean, even as a person who's much more of a collector in my 30s than probably any other point in my life, I remember a couple years ago the 89 Batmobile coming out and everyone making a big, oh my God, did you see this? Or maybe it was even
Lego
last
thing?
year. Yeah. It was a Lego 89 Batmobile. And everyone's like, oh my God, look at that. People are texting me the link like the week that it comes out. You know, people I don't even talk to regularly. Oh, did you see this? And it is like the most sleek, aerodynamic thing, just the most perfect design that is now rendered blocky and awkward by the limits of its pieces because it doesn't, I know there are Lego pieces that are, they'll fit they'll lock in the regular way, but it'll have a contour on the edge and things like that. And I'm just looking at this thing going like, this is an abomination.
But it's intentionally, it's like the 8-bit design. It's intentionally looking like that because it's like this movie. It's not just, it's half for people who like Batman, but it's also 75% for people who like Legos.
Yeah, the novelty of
And I think of it like when I look at your toys and why I don't really have statues or toys, because I think they look best in groups, especially when they're all of the same series.
Yeah.
So it's a consistent design, consistent scale. And like that's what
that's
I think
why I don't buy like that fucking Mezco Keaton that, everyone was making a big shit about. Like I did order it just because it looked so cool and it was Keaton. But then like I get it here and my reservations are confirmed because it's like I don't have anything else this size
that complements it
to go with it.
Yeah.
So like I guess I'll just put it over with the hot toys. So there's like a tiny one and the big one. Like I like those like things together.
A Lego Batmobile looks blocky and sort of like it's blasphemous to the form, but it looks great against a Lego X-Wing.
In a world of Legos.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Lego Wolverine's claws and like just a bunch of stuff.
And I think it's like the trailer for this movie, like I mentioned. You see a thing and be like, oh, yeah, that's not really my wheelhouse. Like, that's whatever. I think part of the reason, like, on the show, I try to be generous to creators and I try to give people benefit of the doubt. People make fun of, like, my letterbox because, like, there's so many 10-star ratings on there. Like, well, yeah, because I see shit I'm excited to see. Like, I don't just make myself review a thing that I think sucks just because it came out. Like I'm doing this because it's a fun discussion.
A pro, that's mainly what it is. Just talking about stuff you hate.
Yeah. But yeah,
why you hate it.
You know what I mean? Like I seek out things that are going to bring me entertainment, enjoyment, and so my things tend to have a more positive skew. And if it's something like the '89 Lego Batmobile or this particular movie, I just go, oh yeah, it's not for me because I don't want to. We talked about Sarks earlier. He was a person I never understood would like always go see DC movies and then complain about them, every single one on the internet. And I'm like, why do you keep going? You don't like them.
I keep going because I have a friend who's like, let's talk about it and record it.
that makes sense. But yeah, I'm just trying to say, like, I know. I don't want to shit on things, and therefore I don't seek out things that I wouldn't like.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
It makes sense.
But it's good for your chicken soup of the soul to articulate what you don't like about these things.
Makes sense.
Especially when it's sort of Batman.
Well, let's skip to the cons.
Isn't that what this all is?
When they get to this part in particular, like there's been a bunch of really fast talking. Then the whole sitting by himself on the jet ski, the whole microwave thing.
Yeah, it's a like, big shock, the pace.
Yeah, I'm like, what does this resemble to me? And it was like Robot Chicken and Family Guy. And I was
in terms of like the whiplash of...
Well, the fast pace and then the like Family Guy really owns the long, like the really long, quiet thing. And so, yeah, well, like those, okay, this is coming through.
But this should have been more like Robot Chicken because it already is.
For sure.
So you just make it like a PG Robot Chicken because that's the kind of pace and the tone that I think would have worked better because this is everything. Every kind of joke and every kind of thing is this, where instead of it being like picking a lane, like this is the humor, this is the jokes. Where, I mean, because like the biggest moment where I really realized what this movie was is like the halfway point when you meet who the true villains are.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, okay. Now I understand what this is.
Well, and if you were to compare it to Family Guy, I really enjoyed, for example, their Star Wars trilogy, where they remade shot for shot. And this is different because they're using an original story. But being so referential, I would have enjoyed something like that more, where it's putting a wink and a nudge on these familiar scenarios or something. Like if you were to do the Lego version of The Dark Knight or something, I think that would be far more entertaining because there's, I feel like, less opportunity to just make a mockery of the whole thing. But there are good story elements, and we'll get to it.
And it also, there's this blurred line that's pretty much just based on perspective, like what's referential and homage and what is like mockery.
Yeah.
That really can only come from you, because another person's like, it's spot on, I freaking love it.
Batman's dumb.
Yeah.
But it's like doing a Poison Ivy story and be like, nature, you dumb bitch. Like, whoa, where did that come from?
But that's how this movie treats all the villains, the Batman villains.
Kind of, yeah.
You know who's a cool villain? The Tower from Lord of the Rings.
I did like how they pulled other things.
I was wondering, are all those Warner properties?
I'm most certainly.
Yeah.
Okay. Bruce tells a family portrait that he saved the city again and wishes they could have been there to see it. Alfred startles him and gets a roundhouse kick across the room into a piano. That's not bad. I think I was still too mad to laugh at it out loud, but inside I knew it was funny.
When thinking about it now, I think that Batman Imposter draws from this movie with the, in this it's the kicking the old man, and in that it's like kicking your lady love. I think it was actually hugely inspirational.
Yeah, he felt a lot of guilt after the kick in this movie in particular. You're right.
Torturing that rat exterminator, torturing Dick Grayson in this. It's all the same.
He says to Alfred, I don't feel anything except for rage, 24/7, 365. To which Alfred responds, you can't spend the rest of your life alone, dressed in black, listening to angry music and staying up all night. Both of these points, this is
personally
just me.
attacked.
Yeah.
No, not even that. I'm like, relatable. Oh, relatable.
Yeah.
Oh, relatable. Yep, that's just me.
The three things in my head this entire time were, Sam's going to hate this.
They're making fun of him directly.
Yeah, they're making fun of Sam directly, or this just is Sam.
Yeah, pretty much. So you can see why I took it personally when I'm like,
watching-
all these things.
I'm watching a documentary right now.
Alfred said that Bruce must attend an event for Gordon's retirement, and so he enthusiastically puts on a tux while then reluctantly removing his cowl.
And when he's trying on these suits, I'm like, I recognize every one of those Lego.
Oh, really?
That's a Lego tuxedo. That's a different Lego tuxedo. Yeah.
First time I laughed out loud, a young kid asks Bruce for a photo, and it says, my name is Richard Grayson, but all the kids at the orphanage call me Dick. To which Bruce says, well, children can be cruel. And it's so fast paced that it really landed. Bruce, now distracted by Barbara Gordon's entrance, just starts saying, yeah, whatever, sure, yeah, totally, to everything that Dick asks. And he is just bouncing around with little kid enthusiasm and like, oh my God, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And he unknowingly agrees to adopt the kid. Jim Gordon steps down, and Barbara steps up to the podium as the new police commissioner. Rosario Dawson, to me, is the best cast member in the film. She is the one thing, to me, that's grounding it.
She has a nice voice. She could read me stories at bedtime.
Yes. She goes on to...
If she was wearing some of the stuff that she wore in Sin City.
At bedtime.
That's
yes,
true.
you have a great
Wearing
voice.
some of the stuff she wore.
Yeah, that's also fine.
The Lego ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear the Lego Sin City costume and read you bedtime stories.
The assassin prostitutes.
I thought, it was a small part, but Ralph Fiennes as Alfred, I didn't even realize that because his voice sounds exactly like whoever did Alfred in like the last two Arkham games, or maybe all three of them. It's just a kind of a distinct version of Alfred.
Yeah, he was a good Alfred. I thought he was on model, you know?
One, I guess it makes sense, but it's so weird to me to have him playing Alfred and not have him
Play Voldemort.
Voldemort.
That's what I. Yeah, I wondered if
I didn't even realize that
him or
was
when you
the
said
same
Ray
guy.
Francis Denner, I was
Yeah.
like, why is he pointing out this guy who has a small cameo later in the
Yeah,
movie?
yeah.
That's funny. Barbara goes on to say that Batman is ineffective outside the law, that they need to essentially combine forces, work together, as well as focus on the actual laws, as she puts it. And so sort of embracing the vigilante, but like, dude's got to stop doing this renegade shit. The graphic behind her in the presentation feels like it could have been taken from the writer's room of this movie, because it says, this is a quote, "What's good about Batman?" Bullet points. Lots of cool gadgets, loves punching, excellent brooding. And I know it's just me, but Jesus Christ, like this is the stuff that actual contrarian adults say in real life. On podcasts, on social media, in comments. These are the actual the like, well, fucking, if Batman wanted to do anything, he just used Bruce Wayne's money, you know? So it's just the like stuff I love about the character being the psychology and the duality and his incredible willpower to do these impossible things, and then just breaking down these like, I mean, he looks cool sometimes, right?
Got gadgets.
That's-
No, it couldn't have been the preview for this movie because it was the preview for Evil Dead Rise that I just watched. because now most movies are comic book movies. One of the previews before this gruesome, upsetting horror movie was for Blue Beetle. Oh. And that movie has the
I haven't
line
even seen that trailer.
There's a line at the end of the trailer where Blue Beetle, the kid, is like, wow, this is like the Batcave. And then George Lopez, who plays his uncle or something, is like, Batman's a fascist. And that's how the trailer ends. And so he's so popular that they can leverage he's lame in their own properties.
Yeah.
Because they just have worked that into the whole thing.
Yeah, that's neat. It's funny because that I would see Shazam ads everywhere for Fury of the Gods. And then I would also see just as many people saying, like, this movie's going to tank, their advertising sucks. And I'm like, it's everywhere, you know? And then everyone's talking about Blue Beetle, like, oh my God, it's coming out. They're doing such a better job with this one. And I was like, I have an exclusive account for DC fan pages I follow. And I also follow multiple DC groups on Reddit. I've yet to see it. I've maybe seen a screenshot or two. I've yet to see the trailer, even a snippet of it in my feed, which is fucking insane.
It looks weird. I don't know if it's just maybe because it's still early on, so they don't have enough movie to show.
Yeah.
But like what they showed looks cheap.
It's just odd that they're not getting credit for Shazam, and then they're getting credit for pushing a movie they're not pushing, or that nobody cares about. Either I'm not sure which one it is. Because everyone's like, well, nobody cares about Shazam. I'm like, I fucking see it everywhere.
When I was a little kid, I used to dress up like Blue Beetle. There's not a
You
day that
still
would
are
go
today.
by. Yeah.
That's true. You got the denim,
You got blue
and
jeans,
blue
blue
t-shirt.
cotton shirt on.
But yeah, like
You know, I'd wake
that
up
one-
and be like, I can just
confused
relate
me.
to his story, you know, of, like
I
being
really-
a Beetle guy.
Yeah.
That's-
and you're
get it.
Mexican.
I
Yes.
feel like maybe it's just that I was more familiar with Marvel stuff growing up, but I actually do have I knew who Ragman was. I do have like a
That's
fairly
so strange.
decent like periphery. Like DC had some like really weird characters, and I
I've
actually
never
have,
seen The Dark Knight Rises, but this Ragman guy, that's right up my alley.
Ragman saves Hanukkah. I remember that episode.
Of course you do. We should show it every year.
Every Hanukkah we would watch it. You don't have a lot of things to watch, so you watch what's out there. You listen to the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler, and you watch
dreidel.
Ragman Saves Hanukkah.
Again, the like, wrenching all the water out of something, like I don't know why are they pulling all of these characters? Like, is Pixar gonna make like a Mr. Mxyzptlk cartoon or something? Like
Mr. Mxyzptlk and Bat might have an adventure. I'd watch that movie.
I mean, okay, if they did.
I mean, we live in a world where the Cleveland Show exists, and there's 3 Ant-Man movies. So, I mean,
I think it's dumb.
They're desperate because there's enough. I don't know what the example. Maybe Deadpool is the best example of like. Well, no one's going to watch this movie. That's like a weird 90s character that only 40-year-old men who like comic books are going to know.
Yeah.
And then it made the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. So now everything is like, that could be the thing. I don't know enough about art or stories, but I do have a lot of money.
Well,
so here, make this movie.
Even how are you like deluding yourself to like that Deadpool is awesome because they did a really good job at it?
Because Ryan Reynolds. I mean,
Well,
it's
yeah,
his
Ryan
baby.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Marvel struck gold. We're deviating here, guys, but to talk about the MCU a little bit and how they've influenced all this, Marvel took B and C level in terms of pop culture, like household names. I mean, think of the Captain America movie that we had as a kid. Think of the Hulk movie we had as a kid. You know,
The multiple Hulk movies we had.
I mean, they took Thor. There's 4 Thor movies. And girls will cream their jeans to go see a Thor. Are you
I
fucking
never want to hear you say
kidding?
cream their
Yeah,
jeans
cream
again.
your jeans.
Okay.
I'm leaving right now.
I mean, you are wearing jeans, so I'm assuming you're taking it personally
well,
for
it
other
triggers
reasons.
me. It's going to make it happen, and I don't like it.
No, it's not because I don't like it. It's because
Thing
I do
is,
like it.
They
I
struck
have to go.
gold with not super well-known characters, and then they happened to do it again with Guardians of the fucking Galaxy,
Like the least
with
known.
Thanos, and with fucking Ant-Man and some of these other shit. And so it's like, well, we can just do anything. People will go fucking see it because we put our fucking name on it. And like, that's not how it works, guys. And we're starting to finally see that
Yeah, it's a
in
little bit of
phase
both.
4 and 5
Yeah.
of Marvel. Like, yeah, guys, these just aren't good anymore. You know, like when James Gunn announced this big connected universe for DC, I'm like, that's too much stuff. Just make a couple
Just
really
think of
good
the cool
ones.
songs that are going to be in these 100 movies that come out in the next few years. It's going to be such good, like, the renegade is here to stay. And it'll be Ragman. Be Ragman walking down the street to that
I
song.
actually
like
only
Saturday
know
Night
that song
Fever
from
and-
Billy Madison, just to be honest. But anyway, yeah, I think it's just there was a time that has since passed and they haven't accepted it, that they could get away with any low-level, deep fucking
Black
cut.
Adam.
Yeah, exactly, man. Fuck. And I went to practically all of those movies opening weekend, the whole time from the very first one all the way to Endgame. To me, if they had stopped, it would be the greatest legacy in the history of filmmaking. It would be an impossible achievement that many could imitate and no one could capture. And what they did is they went, well, Disney Plus? And okay, so we'll do a bunch of shows and we'll do a bunch of movies now that we lost most of our movie stars. But, you know, people will go see it because we put our fucking name on it. And now it's just like, I don't care. I don't care. There's too many. People were complaining about too many superhero movies 10 years ago.
The profit motive is too strong. There's just too much money. Even there's not just that there's too much money. There's too much money and greedy people can't resist it. It's like there's too much money on the line that corporate responsibility will not allow them to not wrench the water from this rag until
and they're
it is.
And it's
killing
also
themselves
the whole
long-term,
like you know can't retreat. It's like always. That's like the corporate way or something. Is to like always grow.
Yeah.
Like okay, but you don't have to keep draining this universe or something.
Yeah, I feel like they've done themselves a disservice, speaking of Marvel and Disney, because I think that, and I mean, hey, we've criticized Warner and DC a lot on the show, but I think Marvel and Disney are, because they control the market, they're kind of killing the whole thing, but they're killing themselves by milking it till it's dry instead of, like I said, stepping back from that insane achievement and slowing down.
Taking your insane war chest and taking a little time and figuring out the next
How
thing.
to properly follow that instead of just
But
continuing
they
with
would argue
another
that
chapter
we did
and
that.
another chapter.
We did that. We waited 3 months and then we announced 800 things that are going to happen.
Yeah,
we did
yeah.
what you were saying. Why are you complaining?
I mean, we talked about Black Widow earlier. I think that was off air. She deserved to have a solo movie finally, but then it wasn't.
Well, maybe
You know,
it was 4 years too late.
It wasn't to the bar that they set with the other films. And so anyway, that's a big tangent. Now we're talking about other shit. But to return to the Lego Batman movie, where we last left our hero,
Blue Beetle.
Joker and all of the villains, they storm this event for Gordon's retirement, and he surrenders himself. And then he traps everyone else and surrenders them. So they're all going away to Arkham. He turned on his own brothers in villainy.
I have a question. Is this some villain that I don't know? Who is this guy? I'm now showing them a picture of Batman with Wolverine claws and like a slightly different colored outfit. He's one of the B-list
Is it
villains.
supposed to be Azrael or something? I don't know.
Maybe, but it seems like he wouldn't have a face showing. I saw him multiple times, and then I had to go back and like find a good shot and take a picture to make sure.
Do you guys remember the amalgam stuff in
Yeah.
the past? The Batman and Wolverine, that was their pairing. I don't know that that's what that is, but
That's the best.
that's an
example I've
explanation.
heard
Yeah, that was
from you
their
today.
mashup. Thank you. That's the smartest thing you've said ever.
I just that one really threw me.
The press rushes in and asks what Batman will do now that all of the criminals are in custody. And we cut to yet another loneliness montage. Essentially, the man has no purpose. If everyone's locked up, they don't need him anymore.
I like this.
Again, sort of Dark Knight Rises, you know. Cleaned up the city so good, we're going to be arresting people for parking tickets, you know.
You can make an interesting story about that, but where
But they didn't.
Yeah, correct. But where that movie works is because like he was ready for him not to be a thing anymore. He was maybe like bummed out and like a little aimless, but he was okay with it.
Yeah.
Where like this movie's like, well, that's all he wants. That's he couldn't handle nothing happening at all. There has to be crime, or otherwise he has nothing to do.
I never thought about it, but what would be really interesting if they ever did revisit that universe would be just to fill in those 8 years. What did he do with his time? I think their point with Begins was more of a Bruce Wayne story. If they returned and did a more of a Bruce Wayne story, like what did the aftermath of that look like for him?
Oh,
You
Dark
know?
Knight. The aftermath.
Yeah, aftermath of the Dark Knight and leading up to Rises. Like,
But we saw where it went. I mean, you could tell any story good, so there could be something good there, but it just seems like
yeah, to
we saw
see
where it
him
went.
end up in this Howard Hughes condition.
that you want to watch a Batman movie where that's the end of it.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. You know,
It's like Citizen Kane or something like weird. Like,
well, no, I guess, I mean, not to keep going back to it, but like a Todd Phillips Joker sort of thing where, you know, you sort of, you end in a bad place, you know? You can Empire Strikes Back it.
It ends with the fade to black and then, do you feel in control? And then, gonna sneeze? What are you doing?
I like the things that this brings
trying
up
not to correct you.
at different times.
The quote.
Am I in control?
Yes, that's the one.
Do you love the darkness as I do? Blinded by it. Those are the lines verbatim.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like some of the stuff that this brings up. It's just not in a position, or it's not the point to like really explore it, and it dumbs stuff down a little bit though. But I like the whole, does Batman create crime? Well, I mean, we've read some comics that talk about this a little bit.
Sure.
But does Batman create crime? What's his contribution? Personally, what would he do? You know, if there is only like a Batman version of Bruce Wayne, and he isn't like, he doesn't have recreational activities,
Yeah.
then what does he do, and what becomes of his like mental state, and what turns into him? Or the stuff, the, you know, still silly version, but I like the whole him and Joker's relationship. And I know that it's silly, the whole like, oh, hate you instead of love or something like that.
Classic Joker.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's funny that
Didn't
Joker
even
is
realize
hurt.
that was Zach Galifianakis. The performance was so
I knew it was going into it, but
there was nothing to it. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I like his sharp teeth.
but you're right though. It's an interesting premise, and if that was the true story, you know, that'd be very interesting. But it's not like this isn't going to do a White Knight sort of examination of
No, again, the big
the
thing of this
effect of
movie
the
is,
character. You know,
psych, here are the gremlins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You remember that? Children? Small children? You remember the gremlins?
Yeah,
From the mid-'80s?
Parents showed this on Halloween one time, maybe.
I like the mini exploration, but they're not going to spend time on it. And it kind of shows that they also know these characters too. It's just,
Yeah.
it becomes one of those, see, we know Batman, and then onto some goofy antics.
And that's sort of why I feel like Batman Forever, in that
I don't know what you mean.
I know. But again, there are story elements in this that are good if they had been handled in a serious way or saw through to their conclusion. But then they immediately pull the rug out from under it and just undercredit.
They could have taken this
undercut
material
themselves.
just slightly more seriously. It could still be goofy and
Just a
fun
little
and
bit,
toy-based
yeah.
and not
Toyetic.
so... Toyetic?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's...
Yeah.
I thought there was a
that
weird...
was the Schumacher term.
Was it? I
toyetic.
thought it was like a stranger term, but maybe it was toyetic.
Yeah.
This movie isn't toyetic. It's like those toys were movie-etic. The toys already existed in the movie to generate this movie. But you could have a silly movie about Lego Batman that was fun and goofy and made fun of the past, but still was like a little more, oh man, what's going to happen? Like,
You can make fun of the situation,
and still worry about
but
what was
not
going to
like
happen
the
and root for
core
your heroes.
tenets of the character.
Yeah, I think like skip some of the songs or any of the like kid gags and then stay a little more on brand with the characters. But that could be fun.
Yeah.
Or make it actually violent and have like little red blocks and stuff like that.
He gets punched in the face and a little red block flies
Yeah,
off.
exactly. That little white one. Pew!
A tooth?
Yeah.
Batman suggests to Barbara that Joker is up to something, which she agrees, but he takes it a step too far, saying he wants to send Joker to the Phantom Zone. Like, look, he voluntarily surrendered. He got everybody else locked up, but he's the Joker. He's going to do something. We don't want to have him leading all the villains to do anything. Take him out of the equation. Send him to the Phantom Zone. And honestly, that's kind of ingenious.
Because then it's like you're not killing someone, you're just dooming them to eternal
How
imprisonment.
many times have we,
Smartest
and
movie ever.
everyone else, had the question of, well, why doesn't Batman kill the Joker? I've never heard anyone say, well, just send him to the Phantom Zone.
Sending you to infinite solitary confinement is killing someone. That's also...
If you want to be a dick about it.
Yeah, it's arguably worse. I don't know the rules of the Phantom Zone. Can you die there? Maybe you just live forever.
Well, there's no food, so I think you just have to live forever.
Yeah, because I'll send you to the Phantom
There's
Zone
no
for
supplies.
1 week.
Yeah. Enjoy no water.
I blame Richard Donner for this. He did not explain it.
Somebody find him and ask him.
Dick Donner, I got a quick question for you. In the Phantom Zone, are there snacks? And if so, are there bathrooms?
Yeah.
And
What keeps Zod alive?
Are those clouds cotton candy or no? This is a hot debate on our podcast.
back at the cave, Alfred has blocked him out of the computer. And he's used the parental controls, which is a family joke for everybody, and suggests that he gets to know the orphan that he himself adopted, who shows him. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
All the weird references I was so hoping, and we got a little bit of it. I wanted more gymnastics around the room.
More Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, spinning the clothesline.
Oh yeah, that's true. When they like, the dude the laundry when they showed the camera of him just like sliding down the banister,
Yeah.
I was like, please. Oh no.
And that's what when you said in the beginning, the characterization's like, this is a weird
Spoof
Dick
the movies
Grayson
and
too.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
like you just made him like a weird Michael Cera character. He's not really a gymnast. I mean, apparently he is, or evidently he is amazing at all this stuff too.
He
as we find
mentions
out.
it, I think, at one point when he like jumps out of the bat wing or something, and like, let's do some gymnastic.
Being
Whatever,
a
I don't know.
oblivious, goofy puppy dog dork is not what I think of when I think of Dick Grayson.
No, but they do lean into the fact that a lot of stories aren't quite as honest about what a kid that age
It's really like
might be
Yeah, yeah.
like if you spend some time around him. So he's not recently orphaned. He's just living his life. You know, he's been there. So it's not like he just witnessed it and now he's traumatized. He's
So he
in a
had the
different
more
context.
like developmentally positive experience of witnessing his parents' murder and then living in an orphanage.
No, I'm
That's
just
why
saying,
he's-
like, the wound isn't fresh like most introductions of Dick Grayson in the immediate aftermath. So I'm just saying I'm giving them a pass in this
You
regard.
see what I did? I got him
What?
to give this movie a pass in a regard.
proud of you, Ben. What if this Dick Grayson is actually like the trauma was so intense that he actually like snapped and
Just buried it.
yeah, and so the part of him that emerged is this like comical, positive.
Happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. It's like it actually broke him, and now this is the
He's
version. that
me,
we're getting
myself,
in
and Irene.
Hey,
Bailey Gates.
I forgot to say that when there's the whole like no more crime thing, then it shows like a bunch of adults like rioting. They're like, yeah, there's no more crime, and it's like it's
You're
adults
right.
like flipping cars and like starting fires.
Oh, yeah. And then Alfred lets him into the Batcave. There is a good line where Batman says, "Please stand over there and don't touch, look at, or do anything for the remaining moments you have in my presence." I'm like, yes, I don't know how to be around children. You go over there.
Freeze.
He recruits Dick to sneak into the Fortress of Solitude and steal the Phantom Zone projector.
Phantom Jones. Sweet sounding
Phantom
name
Jones.
for anything.
Yeah.
The movie Denzel Washington was
My
in
new alias.
1989.
Now I can't edit this out. So, yeah, he's like, "I don't like you. Wait, you're small. I can use that." Dick tries on a bunch of suits before settling on a Reggae Man costume, which after losing the hat, guitar, and pants, which he removes in front of him, is just the classic Robin costume.
Another scene I like because I just like, look at all those little Lego people.
Oh, I thought
All
you
the
meant
different-
when a little boy takes off his pants.
Yeah, you didn't let me finish.
I
Look
was
at all the
getting
little Lego
there,
people
Sam.
and that boy taking off his pants.
Then you can finish.
Yeah.
Got it. Just before they depart, the Batmobile says, "Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed." I'm getting blank faces here.
What is that from?
What are you talking about?
Batman 66.
Oh, I've never actually
Oh,
watched
you
that.
didn't watch that as a kid?
Yeah, but I was, not really present in my life. So,
Yeah, that's what Adam West would say when they would fire up the shit.
Every time.
do you have trypsidixophobia? Why are you pulling your hair?
I found a hair that's longer than my other hairs, and now I'm like, I'm going to separate this so I can cut it off later.
You're a trichotillomaniac.
That's the word, not what I said.
There you go.
Yeah.
At the fortress, Superman's doorbell is the John Williams theme song. I do like that. Inside, the Justice League is having a 57th annual dance party, which he has no recollection of,
Attended
has never
zero
been
of.
invited to. And Batman sneaks off to remove a bunch of Jor-El's crystals and try to disable the security so Robin can have his little heist. I like the joke that he's sort of create a diversion here so I can sneak away without anyone noticing, and then it like zooms out and like no one gives a fuck that he's there.
Shoots away.
Yeah.
I was going to look it up, but I'll just ask, is Ezra Miller the Flash?
In this, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It sounded like his voice, but
I
It's only a couple lines.
had to write down so many names that I just stopped after a certain point.
how about this? Jason Mantzoukas as Scarecrow, who was the original originator of Pocket Dogs.
I only know that guy from The Good Place.
Well, he's also Rafi in the League, as we talked about, who came up with the original idea of Pocket Dogs,
Pocket Dogs.
which he complained about on his podcast, the Flash movie stealing, or the Justice League movie stealing.
Oh, that's what I said.
No, he had a nugget pocket. No, that's
No, it's a
my
hot dog.
boy from Adam Sandler. Never
No,
mind.
he has a pocket dog.
For
and
the
that was-
dogs.
yeah.
Right. I remember now. Batman enjoyed watching Robin do this so much that he allowed himself to actually be emotional, have a proud moment there with Robin, as he's now called, that like, wow, you pulled off this crime admirably. And then Robin moves in for a hug and gets a stiff arm right there in the chest, which I like.
Can I call you Dad? No. Can I call you Papa? Padre?
Oh, yeah, Padre, I think is what we call him.
Those are the kind of jokes. First, it's Adam Devine from Workaholics.
Oh,
So
I
not
like
Ezra
that
Miller.
guy. He's funny.
That's his tiny cameo. But that
He's the Flash?
yeah, that whole exchange about Padre and Papa and whatever, that felt like one of those bad jokes from a Judd Apatow movie, which I generally love. But like they have those.
Like, he has bad jokes? What are you talking about?
Well, no, there are some bad jokes, and like not just Judd Apatow movies, but movies that follow in the footsteps of those.
Yes.
Where it's like it was a bad improv, bad ad lib thing, or where we talked about before, and they keep going with
Yeah,
it.
they just-
They
yeah.
don't stop.
Oh,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah,
Let's keep
Padre
this
on.
dumb joke
Papa?
going.
You can call me Padre because that's like being a friend. Okay, yeah, that's how. Like that whole. It's that kind of joke.
Like,
It's
shut
like,
up.
Yeah,
Shut
stop
up.
this.
Shut up already.
Move along.
no, yeah. I do like Batman's reversing stuff and making it about him. You know, like you didn't do a good job. I taught you well thing, and how he keeps making it about himself.
Batman and Robin go to Arkham and accidentally find Barbara outside. They're doing a bad job of sneaking. With their cover blown, they go right in the front door, and there's a good gag where Batman has to empty his utility belt for the metal detector. Inside, Batman uses the projector to send Joker to the Phantom Zone and gets himself locked up for doing so. Joker finds himself among myriad movie monsters in the Phantom Zone, and vows to help them escape.
This is the moment where I was like, oh, this is a Lego movie. This is not a Batman movie. This is a Lego movie that happens to star Batman.
Yeah, let's play with all of our toys, though.
Yes, exactly.
Disguised, if you could call it that, Harleen is dressed in her lab coat and spectacles. She makes it through Arkham, steals the projector, releases the villains from a portal in the sky, a la the first Avengers movie. Everybody is now back, not just Joker. The Eye of Sauron, for example, reveals the Batcave's location below Wayne Manor, and Joker loses his shit for a moment and then goes to break in.
The Eye of Sauron, Gremlins, Dracula,
Jurassic
Voldemort.
Park.
Who?
Jurassic Park.
There's
There's
the blue, the
T-Rex
raptor.
and
Oh,
the
yeah.
raptors. There's like
Jaws.
King Kong.
kind of a King Kong and kind of a Godzilla.
I wasn't sure if that was supposed to be Godzilla because we get the blue.
It was like a monster from the Blue
Blast
Lagoon
later.
something,
Reptar or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it looked like the fucking Loch Ness monster or something, but then later
Creature from the
It
Black
shoots
Lagoon.
fireballs.
Is it?
Oh, I don't
the
know.
Black Lagoon?
It's not giant, but he looks like a giant
Yeah.
version of that.
Yeah,
But he has the mouth fireballs, and that's a
yeah,
Godzilla.
that's why. I
If you
thought it
read
was
the
Godzilla,
original
yeah.
novel, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, you know.
Well, and
If you watch the original black and white film from the 1930s, you would know.
so I'm pretty sure Godzilla and Kong was a Warner Brothers picture. However, is that one of those like Marvel and Sony coming together?
Yeah, I think
moments?
Godzilla is owned by like Toei or something like that, or
Okay.
some
Yeah, yeah.
Japanese.
So if we
film
were to
company.
look at other Godzilla pictures, they'd be in other studios probably.
Tohei, probably not
Yeah.
Toei, but Tohei or something.
Yeah, but it's been Japanese for like a really long time until we made like
Well, yeah, I know.
4
I
movies or
guess I'm just asking who owns like the American license to that character. What like was it just a deal to make those characters on the same thing that made it a Warner
It probably always
project,
is. Yeah, they
or,
didn't, like,
or
get-
did Warner already have
It's
it?
like anytime you want to use my boy Godzilla, you're going to pay me millions of dollars.
I feel
I'm like, well, okay, we'll use the Creature from the Black Lagoon and make him giant. And these idiot kids won't know the difference.
all I know is that there was one episode where you said something about Universal Monsters, and I said Godzilla, and you were like laughing me out of the room or something.
He's not a classic Universal monster.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know.
and you
thanks.
should have stayed out of the room. I don't like that you came back. That bothers me.
It's my room, though. It's
For now.
okay.
Is Joker the first person to get into the Batcave since the Riddler destroyed it?
In what universe are you talking about?
In the movies, is that what you mean?
No, Bane breaks it in the Bane movie.
In the Bane movie.
We have your tools. Remember when he said that line for line?
Yeah, but that
Your
was
tools are now mine, Batman.
yeah, but that was underneath Wayne Industries. That wasn't actually at his house.
But that was like what it represented in that movie. That was his bad place.
yeah, but I think I'm going to give
Riddler
this to
was
Ev.
actually in the cave, though.
I'm going to give this to Ev in this case because yeah, we don't actually see that. Yeah. Yes. Your armory. Okay. Batman and Robin beatbox in their cells at Arkham, and I fucking hate it.
This is like the most old people trying to be young people
Yeah,
thing.
and that's like a
shut
joke that
up.
like a grandma 10 years ago was like, yes.
Well, yeah, because like,
youngsters, beatboxers.
because okay, you think of beatboxing. Like right now, hip hop is the biggest cultural musical
Thing.
phenomenon on the planet. But beatboxing itself is such an '80s element, along with fucking graffiti and
Breakdancing.
turntablism, breakdancing, all those things that are not in the forefront of rap music today. So like it just seems odd
Yeah.
to do that.
It's
Yeah.
not funny.
Also not funny.
Like not even just old people trying to act like young people, but old people trying to act like the young people that they were like 30 years ago. Like you don't even know what young people are doing currently.
Yeah.
Barbara extends an olive branch saying that they need to work together to stop Joker. And when Batman says that his greatest fear, because they're insinuating that, he doesn't want to work on a team because he doesn't want to lose another family or something. But he says that his greatest fear is like snakes. No, clowns. No, snake clowns. Is that a reference, or was this before the Ninja Turtles Batman crossover in which the Joker is a snake? Because snake clowns
take it
is
to
a
the internet?
running gag here.
What? I don't know.
P. Tor Griffin. Peter Griffin.
Tier. Yeah. Anyway, or maybe vice versa. Maybe the Ninja Turtles crossover came later because that's also a very referential property. I don't know if the books were as much or if that was even in the books.
I sense I've gone too far. So I'll quit while I'm ahead, and I'll change the subject.
Batman squeezes Robin, Barbara, and Alfred into the Batwing with him, flies home, and it has been turned into Joker Island or something. I don't remember if that's exactly what they called it.
Joker Manor on Joker Island or something
Okay.
like that.
Oh, right, because they
I
said
would
he
buy a
lives
ticket
on an
to that
island.
place.
Yeah, and never return. One way, please. As they approach, a group of gremlins descend from the sky, and Robin falls out
And
of
to be
the...
clear, I love Gremlins.
I also love Gremlins.
The gremlins' likenesses are very good.
Yeah.
I like the way that they look and the way that Blue, the raptor, looks more than anything in this movie in terms of characters.
But I don't
'cause
like
they're-
them in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, why are they there? Yeah.
This just like doubles down on now there really are no stakes.
You know what it is? Speaking of things that are so ridiculous,
Yeah.
the YouTube series, How It Should Have Ended, you know, it's like Batman and Superman and the coffee shop, like Seinfeld, and they're bullshitting, you know? They will constantly have this thing where the villain of the movie winds up in some dingy bar with Skeletor and Palpatine and all these famous movie villains, you know, and like now the Joker's there. He just got there, and like that's their gag.
That sounds like Robot Chicken.
And it's funny on like that. They do a really good job of
Well,
it.
also because Robot Chicken is 3 minutes long per sketch, so it's like if it doesn't work, they're past it, and
Yeah.
you don't have to write
Yeah.
an hour and 40 minutes
Quantity
worth of jokes.
over
Yeah,
quality.
they made a movie out of this. And I was just like, damn, they really just took that idea, didn't they? But yeah, gremlins descend on the Batwing. Robin falls out, and Batman dives out after him. When he finally makes the save, Alfred has fallen. You can see this in the distance. And Barbara takes the wheel of the Batwing, swoops down, and saves him as well. As soon as they're all back in the cockpit together, Batman realizes that without her help, Batman would be, quote, street meat. This seems to be the second crack in his emotional armor, which is sort of becoming the point of the story. The Batwing flies straight for Sauron, and Godzilla goes to blast them out of the sky. And in an evasive move, the Batwing dives and leaves Sauron exposed, blowing up as Godzilla shamefully backs out of the room.
I also really like the deconstructing, you know, the stuff like Crumble, you know, the city's getting destroyed by the big monsters or Sauron's tower or something. I think
Oh,
that
like
it's,
do the blocks come
yeah,
apart?
yeah, I love that, like
okay.
the pieces.
It's not
you know,
just like random rubble. It's literally they disassemble.
this is what the debris looks like. It's a bunch of little blocks.
Well, and we glossed over it a little bit earlier, but much earlier in the film when he's creating his like bat thing called the Scuttler. I loved that too because he's falling down the side of a building and he's taking pieces off the building to create this cool Batman vehicle toy that sort of looks like a bat and or like a shambling bat walking on its arms.
I don't even remember.
Oh yeah, I actually think that's
They're flying that vehicle again at the end of this movie.
I actually think that that's really creative. I was one of those things like Sam, not a fan, but I actually think that that's anytime that I see a take that I haven't seen anybody do before, and I thought that was creative. It's like bats crawling around on their weird little nub hands.
Now, in a celebratory mood, the gang says Bat Fam while posing for photo, which Bruce examines this picture, and it looks much like the family portrait he was talking to in the beginning of the film. He sends them all away on autopilot and insists that he must stop the Joker alone. Joker says, "I hate you," but Batman won't reciprocate more than me too. Joker says that he's moving on and sends Batman himself to the Phantom Zone. Here, he gets the Pearly Gates recap of his own life, just like we saw Joker earlier. It's like a screen comes up and all the evil things he's done.
I like how the block breaks it down to him.
Yes, this is a fantastic casting of Ellie Kemper, Kimmy Schmidt.
Phyllis
nice.
the block.
Yeah, she is wonderful as well. But yeah, it shows Batman all the ways in this story anyway that he's been a dickhead to everyone around him. And he makes a deal. He promises to send back all the other villains if she'll let him out to save his friends. And he apologizes, offering customized bat signals to the Bat Fam as consolation. So they all have their own little thing in the horizon while he's trying to get them on board. The remaining Arkham inmates come to get revenge on Joker for turning them in. There's just a swarm of motherfuckers everywhere. We got all the monsters out. Now we got all the villains out. So it's just like fucking all the game pieces on the table. Robin picks the music for the final fight. This is what you mentioned before, I think. Batman says, "This music is filling me with rage. Let's use it."
Well, it's like the idea that this song is bad, and that's why I'm angry, which is perfect for me. But also, like, this is owned by Warner Brothers Music. It's a fun pop song. Please listen to it more. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it wherever you want. Like, listen to it a little bit. Little kids, sing it in the car with your parents. Make them buy it for you.
That's like a Addams Family, Wednesday Addams kind of take on stuff.
This makes me upset. I love it.
I love it. Yeah,
I watched the first episode of that show, and then I
love
didn't
that series.
continue. It got away from me.
Amber and I really liked it.
I liked it okay,
But you guys are goths.
but
That
I
makes
didn't
sense.
like
Yeah,
Luis
that's true.
Guzman. I thought he was a weird casting, and I don't know. I like Jenna Ortega in general. I thought that was a good fit for her.
That was fun.
Where were the Addams Family in this movie? Can we shove some more shit in here?
Yeah.
I liked, in the same, like, one of my favorite things about this movie is just the Lego shit. All the different, like, little Lego Zords that he builds for, like, Mr. Freeze and all those people. They get, like, a unique little, because again, it's like stimulating that part of your head that's like, oh man, I wish I had that when I was a kid. I wish I was creative enough
How would I
to
build
make that, and I wish I had the parts for it.
Actually, I think one of my favorite versions of that is like all the Batcave stuff, because you have like versions of the vehicles or the suits that are actually the Batman Returns Batmobile or the 89 Mobile or something. But then you also have things that just look like original takes of these vehicles.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, okay, well, here, 5 different designer people.
It would be fun to, like, freeze frame the movie and
Yeah.
try and make, because you could literally just make one yourself and then paint it the correct colors rather than having to worry about finding things that were the correct color on top of it.
Yeah. Some of the iterations of the vehicle would actually like lend themselves to this more, like Murphy's or something.
Or the one from the Batman, because it's a muscle car, so it has sharp edges and squared off parts.
Totally. Like it's a muscle car, or in Murphy's, it has like exposed engine stuff or something, and like make it look more mechanical.
There's a weird thing you can do with Legos, though, that this movie actually did a pretty good job is scale.
Yeah.
Because like some of the things Sam complained about with the way that the Batmobile looks blocky, and that's a big Batmobile, right? It's like, it's a large thing, but you can make a Lego thing look much smoother if you make it much bigger.
I won.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hey, congratulations.
Oh my God, I am the winner.
You're going to love Enter Sandman when you hear that song for the first time. It's good.
Again, this is 1989. That song doesn't exist yet.
Well, when you get to that, because I know you're going chronological, you're going to love that one. There's a snare drum in a later album I've heard or something that people hate. You're not going to like that one. But you're a few years away from that stuff.
yeah,
so,
I'll look forward to it.
yeah. But so like you can have, you have your little mini figures, but like they don't work with a giant thing.
Yeah.
So the fact that all these things in this movie, all these models are consistent scale-wise to the characters.
Yeah, you're right. If something has to step up 3 in 3, it's going to look like hard step ups. But if you have 3 times the distance for it to go from this big to this big, then it can stagger.
Yeah, it's pixel art.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of pixels and it looks smooth.
Yep.
Now I think I'm going to get into Legos after talking about
I know.
this.
Damn.
I have some money.
If there's
They
one
got
thing,
their hooks in you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a home
I-
or really a future.
Man, they're
I
so
will have
expensive.
some Legos.
I am with you on 2 of those already. I'm right there.
My biggest gripe about Legos is dusting.
You can't afford them all. Oh,
Yeah. Is
Wow.
Dusting?
It's just
Look at him
dusting.
just
Yeah, like
mocking you.
no one can
You
afford them
pores.
all. There are so,
Yeah,
no,
they're
it's
expensive.
like $140 a set.
I know. Yeah.
There's a
See,
lot of 'em.
when you were talking about like, oh, I mean, all this stuff, like when we were kids, like we could build this stuff. I'm like, no, they didn't have $300 Lego sets when we were kids.
it
They had
cost less.
one or two, and then all the others were like, I remember going and getting one for like 25 or 30 bucks, and it was satisfying and cool. I had like a Naboo Starfighter thing. The thing was awesome.
I will say I really felt for whichever Spider-Man movie that was. I think it was Homecoming. They make a big deal about building the Lego Death Star, how long it took, and then I think it's when his identity is revealed. Ned drops the whole thing and it falls apart. I'm like, oh no!
Somebody actually had to put that together.
Yeah,
to make this
some intern
to make this gig work.
Some group of people put 10 of them together for this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
totally.
True.
Yeah, every cool thing you think in life
for
is like
continuity shots.
you just throw a bunch of money at a problem and they'll.
Yeah.
I wish I had the set from Saved by the Bell, the juice bar, and I suppose the hallway. Okay, well, you have enough money, I'll put it in your house for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that brought me back to God. This is the worst episode for tangents, but it's because I don't care about the product.
The movie is a tangent,
but
everything about this movie.
I saw it was like a side by side, the classic Power Rangers intro and like a new version.
I watched the first 45 minutes of it, and I both loved it and said, I'm not going to finish this. This is
Yeah.
stupid.
But God, the fucking new intro was awesome. At first, I was looking at the side by side. It's like, man, this remaster looks insane. And then you start to notice differences. And like, oh, they recreated this shot for shot, and it's way cooler. Like it looks awesome. Except the awesome fucking theme music was going, and then it got to the crescendo after the guitar solo. When I was waiting for "Go Go Power Rangers," and like it went into a verse, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
The original probably had a verse. It was one of those things like, like there's the extended
Syndication
version.
is
Like
truncated.
Family Matters had a much longer song, but you only ever hear the short version.
Maybe that's my memory of it, is just the short part, because I was like, what the fuck
No,
is
I mean,
this?
I think like the guys who wrote that song wrote a song, and then Haim Saban, the Jewish
for sure.
people who bought
Yeah.
it, were like, okay, let's cut that shit out. Give me the guitar solo. Give me this. Quick, snappy.
Give me all these fight clips from that other show in Japan.
It was in Japanese, and they didn't want to like take the time or pay the money to have it translated and resung, and never mind.
Buy the footage. I will say, I just want to point out in this, and it sounds like a spoiler, but it happens during the opening credits. So the woman who played the Yellow Ranger in the original series, Trini, died like 30 years ago.
Oh.
Or she died a while ago.
And fucking Jason just died in the last few months.
And so this picks up like all the Power Ranger shows in between, I guess, still happened, but it's the main people still. It's supposed to be her in the yellow suit.
So like Amy Jo Johnson's back in the suit and shit?
Well, no, because she didn't want to be in the project, but it's supposed to be her in that. And like they contrive a way where she gets caught by Rita or something. But Trini gets killed in the opening credits of the movie.
Oh my God.
And that's the thread throughout the movie, is that she's like been murdered by Rita, and her daughter is now wants revenge. But
so it's also, Kill Bill 3.
But it's also in the tone and style of the original Power Rangers show,
which is dumb.
Yes, dumb and for children.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a wild ride. If you liked Power Rangers, it's worth watching.
I did, but I don't think I can do that. Like by the time there was a movie, I was already kind of out.
Well, when you're doing, because I know you do
like
this.
Ivan Ooze was not. Dude, I'm telling you, Lord Zed is one of the greatest villain character designs I've ever seen in my fucking life.
And I think he's a U.S. creation. I think he's made for the U.S.
Yeah,
show,
he was like a second season character.
I also
but fucking
like
like
the,
Goldar and like my God.
Goldar's the gold
Dude,
suit blue. Yeah, okay,
I
I
was
like him
all
too.
about that
A lot
fucking
of the
show.
monster
That was the
designs are
first
fun,
time
too.
we had 12-inch figures.
Yeah.
Of anything.
I like the ones. Let's just talk about Power
The
Rangers.
flip heads. Yeah, dude.
I remember getting
I had
those
those
for
too.
Christmas in like third grade, getting maybe a set of them.
And like, how cool was Jason? He's the Red Ranger, who's the coolest one, and then he's the Green Ranger.
No, that's Tommy.
Oh, right, Tommy. That's what I'm thinking.
Green.
But Jason's the actor. I think
Jason
I think
David
that's his
Frank,
name.
yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy is like the fucking Red Ranger,
And
and
the
then
white-
he becomes the Green
Tommy's
Ranger,
the Green Ranger,
and then
who becomes the White Ranger.
yeah, I thought he was three different. He's two different.
He might be a Black Ranger at some point too. Like in
No, because they already had the Black Ranger.
no, but they changed it around when they switched to like Power Rangers Zeo, the second one.
I apologize to our listeners.
I don't. This is not
too far.
any more nerdy.
I knew
It's just a
Green
different strand.
went to White, but I was thinking that he was already the red
the
guy,
Green
because the red
Ranger?
guy was cool too.
He was cool. Yeah, because he was like the other leader. No, he was the white.
But then the green guy showed up and he had his little fucking flute and shit.
And then
he
he
was
got-
the coolest.
He got co-opted by Rita. He became evil. He died or went away, but then actually, no, he didn't. He came back, and now he's the White Ranger.
He was the illest.
Then they got a new set of powers, and everyone got kind of shuffled, and now he's like the Black Ranger of the new Power Rangers.
Weird.
So he was 3. The weirdest one is when the Blue Ranger was a little kid, and he transformed, and when he went into a suit, he became a man.
Shazam.
Sort of, yeah, because like the footage from the Japanese show, the Blue Ranger's a man, but they wanted to have a little kid in this one, so he just became
They like never explained. He just like grows 3 feet in
something
every
like that.
battle.
Yeah.
All right, back to this awesome movie. The Bat Fan passes around the projector sending back these monsters to captivity. And there's a gag that we're going to punch these guys so hard that words are going to materialize out of thin air. I'm paraphrasing, that's not the exact quote, but they do a whole fight scene that has the Adam West, Burt Ward, pow, bam.
Before Pow Bam, I actually thought that they were going to narrate like
They would
the
say
force
it?
punch. No, just like
Frank Miller.
punch his head with 12 pounds of force or something. Like I actually thought that they were going to break down all the stuff that he was doing, not that words were going to show up. I was like,
I think it's more movie referential than comics.
Yeah.
And then there's another moment where Jaws attacks here, and they find a use for the shark repellent that they made fun of earlier when he's like, don't touch anything in the Batcave. Like, well, you can touch that. It's fucking useless. In a meta moment, the Lego characters all stack on top of each other and try to bridge a gap that the bomb has created
Again,
here.
another like, oh, okay, this is a Lego movie.
Yes.
It's a Lego movie.
Oh yeah, your heads
about
have
Batman.
dots on them.
Yeah, if
and
you
your-
take off the
and your-
hairpiece, you can stack them, guys.
Yeah.
You solved the giant situation that we need to resolve by doing a Lego thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Batman appeals to Joker for help, saying that he'll never be able to fight him again if there's no city left behind. So Joker and Harley, they add themselves to this human bridge, and the world just snaps back together in a little edit. Bruce unmasks himself to Robin, concedes that they are a family, and even allows, finally, an emotional hug. In the end, he sends himself back to the Phantom Zone, as promised. It's a big, dramatic send-off, and then he's getting tractor beamed up to the sky, and then he just hits the finite sky like the Truman Show and falls to the ground. And Ellie Kemper's white block thing comes back to the Earth side of the portal, says, you know what, you've changed. You've had a character arc, kind of, and that he can stay. Batman lets Joker and everyone else go, saying that he's giving them a head start.
The guy who created the problem that they had to solve at the end of the movie.
And then they all return to the cave together, the Bat family, I mean, repeating the first scene, microwave and all, but with everybody and with food for everybody. And he hangs the new picture of his new surrogate family next to the picture of his actual family. And instead of a young Bruce in the foreground, it's the young Robin in the foreground. And then we cut to a white screen and a peppy theme song, again in contrast with the dark opening, which they also make fun of in a commentary track. And that is how the movie ends.
Man, I want to watch this movie with the commentary track. I want to watch this movie with the
Might be
movie sound
better.
in one ear, full volume, and the commentary track in the other ear, full volume.
It might
And then I'm going to kill myself.
be better to watch this movie with commentary than to just watch it.
Yeah, it might be better paced, a little more deliberate.
Yeah, it's a lot. So that's the end. Were there Easter eggs and stuff? I didn't even mention when Billy D shows up. To be honest, I don't even remember it. It was probably in the beginning.
No, it was near the end when they're getting everyone together, like, oh, you guys are going to fight back.
Oh.
But that's the weird thing with animated movies, kind of in the same vein as how at the beginning it seems like a commentary track almost, because they're just in a studio somewhere talking. So it seems fake anyway.
Like this. This is fake.
No, we're not pretending we're not sitting in a room, me dressed amazingly, you guys dressed very poorly, with my huge muscles rippling, you guys cowering in both
Right. Ben
amazement
Blue Beetle
but desire. Yeah. No, but it's like,
First, he was fucking the man in the yellow hat. He
I
had
was
his
fucking the man
Easter
in the yellow
yellow.
hat?
He had his Easter yellow shirt on last summer
Curious
when we talked
George
about this.
Caretaker.
Yeah, and now he's the Blue Beetle.
it's not a cameo in the way that I view it like,
You know what? He was a Latin king, and now he's a Crip. That's what it is.
whoa, no gang stuff. Is that
Oh.
gang stuff?
No?
So like if you were making a silly Batman movie and then Billy D. Williams, the person, showed up, like he showed up in Star Wars stuff. He showed up as Lando Calrissian. He's an old man. He's very, kind of worn down by life. But
Spoiler alert. Jeez.
but isn't that in Rise of Skywalker? Or is that the middle one? He's got the thing, the disguise he wore in Return of the Jedi, but he's like an old man.
Was it in Solo? Speaking of which, Return of the Jedi is in theaters right now for the anniversary, and I might go tonight.
Wow.
I would see Empire Strikes Back. That's my favorite, Empire Strikes Back.
I mean, yeah, it's the best one, but like, come on.
You want some nub-nub? You want some nub-nub in person?
I do.
Nub-nub-do-do-be.
That was my favorite one as a kid.
But the point I was making
Come on,
is
he's got
that,
fucking Jabba and Leia and Boba Fett. Come on.
yeah, it was probably my favorite as a kid too, but in hindsight.
That little laughing guy?
Yeah, that's what I did last week when we got together and did one.
Yeah, there you go.
Salacious Crumb.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a great character. And also, Jabba Dabba Goo with Jabba Dabba, the singing aliens.
Oh, no.
That's in that also.
Do you think they're playing the original, or is it the fucking special edition?
Special edition.
Oh, God. If they play the original,
Well,
I would...
Disney owns it, so they can do it. George
my
Lucas
God.
wouldn't, like...
I have to look into this now. If I got to see the fucking original again for the first time in 25 years or something, oh, my God.
Yeah, it could be.
Now I'm even more excited.
Do you wear glasses, and if you wear
I'll
the
probably
glasses,
be disappointed,
blocks out the extra CG. It's a different thing. What I wanted to say was,
I don't care what you want to say.
but I'm pretending like someone does. I know they don't.
Someone
But,
at home does.
Yeah.
You listening to this later
One of
wants
the people
to know.
who listen to this, me.
Future Ben wants to know what Ben wants to say right now.
If you bring Billy D. Williams out to set and you put him in a costume and he interacts with actors, that's a cameo. This somebody went to Billy D. Williams' house, set up some like ISDN voice acting thing. Hey, will you say 3 words? And then they piped it in like
They just used the Billy D plugin and
AI.
they had Will Arnett say his lines.
Someone on TikTok recorded this into their phone and then AI.
They bought a cameo.
It's probably cheaper than hiring him to be in the movie.
You were talking about Star Wars, and it reminded me like a acid flashback. Amber will like show me TikToks of like millennial things and the stuff that we were exposed to that like they wouldn't put in a children's movie now or something like that.
Porn.
No, like Land Before Time and
God, yeah.
you
So
know,
sad.
Yeah,
like-
it's like the tragic not tragic, but like late 80s, early 90s children's film that had like dark undertones.
Traumatic
yeah,
moments.
yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
and,
there you go.
and
Fucking
as you were,
All Dogs Go to Heaven and shit.
yeah,
Yes.
like,
oh God, going to hell in that movie.
Real death.
Brave Little Toaster.
Mufasa. Let's just list them all now.
Yeah, that's
My parents separating. Just kidding. I don't remember them ever being together, guys.
Me neither. That was as close as I'll get to a high five.
when the Rancor is killed
Yeah.
is like simultaneously like triumphant on the part of Luke, but also
Sad.
really freaking sad.
That Rancor handler starts
Yeah.
crying and they console him.
Yeah.
What a weird, brilliant thing
Yeah.
to put in that movie.
Like I'm feeling the opposite of what I should be feeling right now.
Yeah, what really sucked the air out of that victory, didn't it?
Yeah. I'll put that
Everybody
on the
has
list.
family. Everybody has friends. Violence ripples through communities.
Yeah.
I learned that from the Rancor
Salient
scene.
point.
Return of the Jedi.
Jabba's palace.
Look, guys, there's layers.
No, the whole movie is Easter eggs.
Yeah,
I know.
It's
But Eddie Izzard played Voldemort. You have the actor
That's
who played
weird.
Voldemort, and you hire a different famous, iconic actor to play him for 5 lines.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was like contractual or something. Like, is he?
We
Is
have
he?
to have Eddie Izzard play Voldemort in a movie.
Well, no, is he?
I will
is-
not play Voldemort
Well,
in this
yeah,
film.
yeah, like the opposite of Iron Man or something. Like,
Or maybe he'd have to get his Voldemort price to play that
yeah,
character.
yeah, like maybe he can't exist as him outside of actual
without
Harry
whoever
Potter
owns
stuff.
that getting some huge cut.
something. Yeah,
To whichever
who knows?
specific studio gets. Yeah.
yeah. But that is funny though.
I want to ask you guys what
the
you have
prom?
for pros.
Already happened. That animation.
Yeah.
Because you talked about it before, the frame rate, like intentionally designed to look like stop motion when it's
Yeah.
not. This is computer generated. But so not only does that look really cool, there are multiple times where they break that and the animation becomes extremely fluid, like where someone's dancing or moving or something does something. And I thought that looked amazing. That looked
Yeah.
so cool of like flipping between the stop motion and then like super fluid. Just, I'm doing the worm
Ben's
now.
doing, yeah.
It's really good. They're very impressed
Yeah.
with my muscles on top of it.
Yeah, it's amazing that you're so agile with all those muscles.
I'd actually think that if he got bigger, he would actually be faster. Like I didn't think that there could be a person as perfect as you,
Sure.
but here you are.
Just breaking the mold. You're proving us wrong.
Yeah, it's insane.
I don't know if you guys have heard the word swole.
That's a glandular problem.
Ben.
That's not muscles. It's fluid and pus in all my joints and arms. That's why I'm so bloated. I found this thing on the internet where you just inject oil into your muscles and it makes them huge.
Oh.
They don't do anything, but they look awesome.
Amber was recently watching it. She watches like 911, whatever. One of the calls that they went on was bodybuilder guy, trophy cuts him, and then he's like, and then he's discredited because he had won all of these competitions
Is
and
it
stuff.
for steroids or because he like had
It's the oil stuff.
injections?
Yeah. So then
that's a real thing?
it's a
I'm
real
not
thing.
making-
Yeah,
Oh, God, I
disgusting.
thought you were just bullshitting.
I mean, do what you want with your body, but it's so like, it's just one of those like, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't
That's bad for you.
even know
Don't
if
do
that stuff metabolizes.
No, it's poisonous, I think.
Yeah.
It's bad
It's
for you.
formaldehyde.
There's some video of like
But does it look cool?
No.
But also it doesn't really look like a muscle.
Who enters an arm wrestling competition, and it's like pretty clearly oil injected muscle. It doesn't work. It's not a muscle.
Doesn't make you actually
but he has
stronger.
like huge Popeye arms, and like that's gonna.
And then you're going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I thought that they did a couple fun things, like they have their parameters, but then they'll kind of do like redesigns on some stuff. Like Croc was a silly character, but I liked how he looked. I didn't get a good look at Two-Face. That'd be a fun thing to look up. But they did a cool thing where a lot of times it was these pieces actually exist, and so we're like keeping it true in that way. And then the figures have the same body generally, but then you can like paint them. So it's not as if you're like deviating from the shape. You just change the look of
Well,
them.
like the Batgirl costume is that thing they do where it's the same square body, but they just draw like an hourglass figure over it.
You mentioning some of the designs, I would liken this to Funko Pops in that the non-human characters are the ones that look the best. You know, like nobody has a nose. Everyone has this really like flat expression. And yet to make a cartoony dinosaur or a gremlin or something looks surprisingly on model.
That is actually how it is, though, in Legos, that like sometimes you do have.
The little Yoda looks awesome and
Yeah.
realistic.
And then Han looks like a smiley
a little
face.
yellow man.
Yeah, like they.
Not
like they,
Asian. They all are yellow.
Yeah, I took it the way you meant it.
Okay.
The racist way.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I don't care if you're black or brown or purple. I don't have a racist bone in my body. That's what they all say. They always say purple.
I have
keep
a
it
purple
outside
friend.
of my body.
Is he going to recover?
No.
You'll be my next purple friend if you don't shut your fucking mouth.
Never mind, dump that part. I liked that Two-Face looked like Billy D. Williams. Like we never got to see a version of that, but like
What
I thought
But
you
that-
just said you didn't get a good look at him.
No, sorry, I must have
was
been
lying.
thinking of
He's a
I must have
compulsive
been
liar.
thinking of somebody else.
He was talking about a different Lego
Yeah,
Batman movie.
yeah.
I mistook me for someone else.
There might be other Lego Batman movies, like cheaper straight to video ones, I think.
Oh man, I hope there are.
When I was typing
Like
it in
sequels?
on Vudu to rent it, it was like other things came up.
Oh, wow. The porn parody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, classic.
Everything fits together.
Yeah.
Everything comes full
Good one.
circle.
Yeah. The quality of the animation, it's crazy to me that it includes like texture. Like Batman's cowl isn't just shiny smooth. It has like texture to it.
Like
And-
that kind of like plastic that would be on a metal thing.
Yeah, like slightly
Sandblasted or
yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
sandblasted. They don't attempt to make their capes look like a thing that doesn't exist in the Lego universe. Like every one of them has like a hole at the back because it's actually like a part that's folded over another part, just like the flags were in the past and stuff
Or
like that.
Robin's cape is textured with all the little micro holes in it. There's even one shot where someone isn't wearing a cape and then like spins around to flip the cape, and then as soon as it revolves, it's gone again. So there's definitely weird little things like that
Yeah.
that are intentional. I don't mean it's like a mistake.
Yeah, that's the beauty of an
Yeah.
animated film. Nothing is accidental.
Yeah.
It's very Family Guy in that like none of this matters.
Yeah.
Did you laugh at it? Cool. We're moving on.
And I think it's really wild that the light source stuff in this would be like so insane because every one of these little step ups and stuff would like cast a shadow. You know, if you made a balloon, you'd have this like equal gradient
Carry on,
of shadow.
continue.
Yeah. So
If I made a balloon.
hear me out. And so the shading on it would just be like gradual.
Yeah.
But if you made a balloon in Lego universe, then it would be all these like staggered stair steps, and all of them would like cast a shadow based on the light source.
Yeah.
And I think that that's like a crazy amount of detail to have to consider and include.
Well, they don't, because it's 3D rendered, you can build a model and then apply lighting effects to it.
Okay.
They're not drawing it, I don't think.
Sure.
Imagine if someone drew a
Yeah,
Lego
yeah,
movie.
Totally.
Like
Oh,
that.
God. Yeah.
To have to draw all those things.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
reason these are being made now and
Yeah.
not when we
Yeah.
were kids.
And my other thing about the animation is not just the quality, but like it's very original. We know this world, but a lot of the look of this, even if it wasn't Legos, even just this geometric world is like something I haven't seen in an animated thing before.
Lego Star Wars video game, Lego Harry Potter video game,
yeah,
the Lego video
Lego,
game,
yeah.
Lego
Such
Indiana
a
Jones.
bastard.
Yeah, shut up.
Just because you're uncultured.
That's true.
Because I don't watch Lego movies.
I played all the Lego
Yeah,
video
yeah.
games. I'm what you would call worldly. Swole.
Yeah, and I can think of a couple things in recent memory, like Love, Death, Robots. Oh, in a world where like the Pixar stuff looks very similar, like over and over and over,
Yeah.
as just a style of animation. Not that they don't change it between like, you know, here's Enchanted and here is Moana or something, but it still has a similar vibe to it. But then you have series like Love, Death, Robots, or the Arcane series that we were talking about.
Kubo and the Six Strings was a
Oh yeah,
Not a series,
yeah.
but like a different-
Anything by Leica, or the recent Spider-Man CG stuff
oh yeah.
is
Into the
like
Spider-Verse, hell yeah.
thank
that
you
looks
for
good.
doing something different.
Yeah.
You know, like I've said it before, but like just originality gets props to me.
Yeah.
Which is why I wish this movie was better.
Yeah.
Because that's
Totally.
like, and I think they made the movie they wanted to make, so that's
Yeah.
fine. But
I would like to like it.
yeah, yes, me too. You're not doing this out of like you're not vindictive. You're just-
Yeah, exactly.
the other, I
It's not helping me out.
one other touch I liked about the animation, I just love that anytime someone took a picture, they would look at the picture and then it was a drawing.
Yeah.
So and it looked like what we saw, but it was clearly a two-dimensional drawing of a 3D thing we just saw.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I just wanted to say that despite the tone, the story is good because you have this loner with major abandonment issues who they're teaching the value of not just relationships, but being able to depend on other people and
Teamwork.
yeah, and just sort of getting him out of his funk that he's been in for his whole life leading up to this point. And I think there's a good version of that in the original writer's head. The first guy that I credited in this list, Seth Graham-Smith, also has the sole story credit. So I imagine that his original script is more about that, and then
It's
they
the
just brought in
story.
like half a dozen other people to punch it up and make it insane.
Well, it feels that way with the performers too, because I like all of the voice actors in this, all of them, like across the board. But it also reads like a bunch of like comedic actors in Hollywood, and I don't mean that in the obvious way. Like, of course, that's who they would hire. I mean, it's like Riki Lindholm and Kate Micucci, who are Hall & Oates. Like Kate Micucci, the little tiny woman, is Clayface, and Riki Lindholm is Poison Ivy, and Adam Devine, whatever, as Flash. Like they had like a one specific group of comedy people, and they're like, but yeah, we know these actors. You'll come in and do this and that, and the 8 of you, you guys will just write a million jokes, and we'll kind of fit them in where we can, and whatever. Yeah, it's fine.
yeah.
It's
And
like college humor. We'll get those guys in here, and yeah.
This genre, or like you mentioned, Pixar and that sort of thing, it's just not for me. And I know we're all about the same age, but to me,
You guys are much older than me.
I mostly attribute it to there's people who grew up on it, who were just a couple years younger than me. And then there's the parents who grew up with it in their houses, because of that and taking their kids to see it. And I'm like right down the middle of just missed all of that. And so it's
Toy
not,
Story would have been your age, but
yeah, the first Toy Story I saw, and then I haven't really, like I was just talking to Gradient about this the other day, one of my old tour mates, and he's like, "You're telling me you've never seen Monsters Inc. and this and that. I'm like, no, man.
Cars
like,
3?
that all
Planes?
missed me. Yeah, that all missed me. And so there's this sort of model that started there with Tom Hanks and Tim Allen of like, now everybody is a major celebrity voice in these movies. And aside from like Secret Life of Pets or something, I just haven't seen them. But that seems to me like they put in all these famous people to get the parents to come to bring the kids to the shit, but like in this context, I don't care who's in it, really.
Well, so Will Arnett is a great voice actor. He did this performance very well. Michael Cera is really good, especially because if I think about the way he is in most things, he doesn't sound like the way he does in this.
Yeah.
So he actually did something.
Yeah,
and
he
tried
really
and had
hams it up
character.
as a kid, yeah.
But a lot of the other ones, and it's a problem with a lot of those movies that we were just talking about, were like, not Toy Story, because Tom Hanks is fantastic.
Let's say recent ones.
Yeah, just a lot of the big animated movies where like they hire an actor.
Kevin
and
Hart
hires
to play
actors.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, and not only that, they're not top tier voice actors.
Yeah.
When you could hire somebody who, like a lot of cartoons hire the same people over and over because they're very good at the skill of acting in a room, where like regular actors, a lot of them are not.
Yeah, it's more for brand recognition, I think, than anything else. Which, I mean, it's fine. I'm not going to slight them for trying to sell their movie or for just hiring people that they want to work with for whatever reason. I just say that to contextualize that, like, this is a thing that's not really part of my wheelhouse. It's not really part of my thing. I know it's very normal that a lot of these animated movies now are like celebrity casts. I don't think that was the case with Don Bluth movies and shit growing up.
No, they
in
were
the
Mel
80s.
Gibson. I thought Mel Gibson was the dog and All Dogs Go to Heaven. Gibson. But no, I think they had.
I mean, I think Bob Hoskins might have been in it.
Yeah, they had known actors in those movies too.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like the prevailing, like, we got 30 of them, like it is today. Anyway, I think there's a lot in the story that could be good in a different context. Everything you already said about animation and the brief mention we had about the non-human character designs looking good.
I loved the momentary still shots from other Batman movies.
Yeah, they did it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I really just like it was just neat to see.
Just recreating familiar scenes.
Batman from Dark Knight standing over a pile of rubble, or just like
Which again,
that was
if
cool.
that had been more the direction of this movie, it would be a lot easier to swallow. Because you're going, hey, remember those stills? Like, yeah, dude, that's a great idea.
Yeah. You're trying to tell me that this, what I'm watching right now, is also those guys?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you said Robot Chicken. Fuck, dude. They do that shit great.
Yeah.
Cons. I'm just going to lead by saying the entire tone, it's just not for me.
Yep, I agree.
I do want to say, though, that, maybe I'll get this wrong.
Is it math?
Yeah, well, I'll definitely get it wrong if it's math. I remember you at one point talking about objectively bad and objectively good stuff based on X amount of people like it and say it's good, and therefore it is good.
Sam was putting this argument forth?
Yeah.
Sounds like him.
I don't remember, but I'm listening.
And I'll always be like, well, it's a matter of taste. Different strokes for different folks. And you'd be like, yeah, well, this amount of people say it's good, and therefore it is good. By popular opinion, this has been deemed a good thing. And I just wanted to point out that this movie has a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
What about the critics versus the audience? What's the difference there?
I don't know.
Fuck you. Tell me both. You can't do one. You have to say both.
No, I just...
You had your phone in your hand. Pick
the
it up.
Shazam
Pick up
audience
what?
score was like 89%.
There's
man.
always an
So it is
audience
good.
score and a critic score.
Oh, I don't know.
It should be right there.
There's a picture of a tomato and a picture of a popcorn bucket.
Popcorn bucket is the audience score.
Okay, 80%.
So 80% audience score, 90% critic score.
And that makes this objectively good.
But, well, no, because to tell you why you're wrong,
Okay.
I think you should judge the thing based on intention. I give them credit because I think they made the movie they intended to make, but I give them a bad score because I think they also intended to make a movie that I would enjoy and think is funny, and I don't think they succeeded in that. When you make something, you're probably like, this is going to be great. That bald jerk guy,
Even he's going to like it.
he's going to like it because, I mean, this is funny stuff. We got all the right people. We put it together well. He loves Batman. He's going to love this. That's also their intention, and I think they failed in that regard.
And I don't actually agree with that. I just wanted to attempt to turn Sam's
idea.
argument back at him.
Yeah, I
believe
wish
he
I
said that.
remembered the
I believe he
context
would say
better.
it.
because that's akin to saying that like pop music is the best music or something. So like I don't remember enough.
I want to know because I'm sure he was probably cherry picking to
what the
support
conversation
something he
was.
liked.
Oh, it might have just been like Metallica, Drake, or something. And you'd be like, no, Drake sucks. He blows. Like, well, okay, that's just because you think he's bad doesn't make he is bad. In fact, a bunch of people actually really like it.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm normally the opposite of that where it's, oh no, I could tell you the reasons. I can break it down. I know everyone else likes this thing. I can explain to you why it's not good, even if it is popular and enjoyable.
Yeah, and that's two different things. But that's what I mean.
You
Like you can judge it on the intention of like they wanted to make something well, and you're like, well, they didn't make it well because of this, and it's bad because of this.
Yeah.
But then also like they wanted to make something that a huge number of people will love and buy, and they succeeded on that front, even if they did a bad job of making it or whatever.
Well, this is all us putting a lot of qualifiers in front of the rating. So what is the rating, guys? They have to be positive numbers, guys. No negatives.
Yeah.
One,
I'll say 2.
I liked All-Star Batman more than this.
Yeah. What? I have to say 2 as well. They get a point for the story that they tried to tell.
The animation is awesome.
There's a version of this movie that I would have loved, and it's not this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get a point for the fluid animation. It does look very good. It's just fucking stupid.
There's no stakes in Robot Chicken, and yet I have a great time in that.
Yeah.
There's no stakes in this movie, and I did not have a great time.
Well,
Batman versus Dracula actually fucking rules. Red Rain and
Yeah,
all
I
that
do
stuff.
wanna
That
watch
is
that.
awesome. I don't mean like literally that, but I mean those stories about like the Kelly Jones stuff from the early 90s.
I thought
or
you meant the
whatever.
cartoon.
No, that could be cool. I don't
yeah, I
know.
was like, what does that have to do with this?
But
What do
having Dracula in this sucks. Having Voldemort in this sucks.
Batman versus Predator.
Rules. The Predator was in this sucks. There's a pattern here, a
Yeah,
theme.
yeah.
We're
Yeah, I
I
mean,
get what you're saying.
Batman is in this, and it still sucks.
Yeah.
Like, there's no saving it. All right, that is our show. Thank you guys so much for listening and for your patience between episodes. We are back recording again this weekend, 2 more episodes. So I'm hoping we will be on track to load it up the rest of the year. Now, I want to mention to you, I'm selling off much of my Batman collection that is not framed up on the wall or in my Hot Toys display cases. So if you go to our Instagram at Bat Fan Addict, you will see the link in the bio to my eBay store. You'll find comics, signed comics, sketches, action figures, all kinds of cool shit. So check that out, and we will return for episode 66 doing, that's right, Batman 66.